lastly, Meredith, you want to hit the escrow funds?
Sure, there's only one, right?
I think it is.
Mr. President, I'd like the board to consider authorizing release of escrow funds for Mattison Development, UD number 15.011, release number 14, final for Mattison Estates Castle in the amount of $5,802.20.
Second.
And Tom, anything on this?
No, this is the final release. We verified with the Preservation Alliance that Aquinas Realty and Lindenwald Realty Associates has made all the restoration and preservation efforts under the covenant in the original agreement for Mattison Estates. They've completed that, or they've maintained it, and so we're ready to release them from their obligations under the agreement. That's what this final escrow return represents.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, I have a question. So what does that mean for the castle? The castle was intended to be developed first as part of the 501, then maybe as individual apartments. I feel that none of those have happened. So what does this release mean for the future of the castle? Is it now just...
No, so that's a great question. There still is a plan to develop apartments to the rear of the castle, the non-historic portion. If you could divide the castle up into the front, which was historic and had preservation components to it, those have all been restored in accordance with guidelines of the Preservation Alliance, the National Historic Preservation Alliance program, and it's...
Aren't those offices?
Not currently. Currently, it's not occupied.
It's empty?
It's not.
No,
Yeah,
it's
the
able to be.
Wouldn't have anything to do with the use. It really,
Yeah.
the preservation has to do with the structure
Facade.
itself, right?
I think it may surprise some of you to know that the structure and the interior can be preserved and still divided into apartments or condos, however they choose to do it. They can develop walls and partitions on the inside of these huge rooms. You've been in the castle. The rooms are absolutely huge. And those rooms are going to be preserved, and they have to be preserved. But there still is a plan. The developer of the castle is also the developer at St. Catherine and St. Drexel down in Bensalem, and so is probably consumed with redeveloping and getting approvals down there. That may be why the apartments haven't happened sooner. But I've seen a plan. It's not a formal submission, but I've seen a plan to develop up to 12 apartments in the castle. Now, looking at the castle goes way back, probably 80 feet to the rear. And so most of the partitions are in the rear, the non-historic portion. But there are a couple apartments up front that take advantage of the character of the building. But we're not there yet, and that would be independent of this preservation aspect that they've complied with so far. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I'm curious, so who owns the castle?
It's owned by Lindenwald Realty Associates and Aquinas Realty. They're both like the same corporation.
But that's not the same as the 501.
Not the same as the
It's not the
501.
same as
That's
the Guidi homes.
not the same as, yeah.
Oh, so yet another party owns it.
That's,
Yeah, but
this
there
is
were-
one of the 4 entities that own land in the Mattison parcel, as it were.
All right, great, thank you. Thank you for
Sure.
explaining.
Any other discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second for final escrow release for Mattison Estates Castle in the amount of $5802.20. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.